We're going to get a little more on this story now with our business editor, Charles Pellegrin, who joins me on set. Hi, Charles. What exactly does this deal consist of?
Well, if signed, it would be the most important free trade deal signed by the European Union. It would bring together the EU's common market with that of the 5 Mercosur countries, so Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, Paraguay, and Bolivia. This would be a market of 780 million people, totaling somewhere between 40 and 45 billion euros of trade every year. The agreement would gradually eliminate import tariffs between the two blocs, so the EU would be able to export more cars, clothes, and wine to South America, while the South American countries would export more mineral and agricultural goods to the EU. Talks on this deal started in the early 2000s, and it was only in June of 2019 that a general agreement was reached between the two parties. There has since been some backtracking from both sides, and the deal has never been formally signed.
All right, so why are French farmers so vehemently opposed to this?
Well, they're concerned about the sudden influx on the EU market of large amounts of South American goods produced in industrial-style farms that they believe aren't subjected to the same environmental and health regulations and benefit from a lower cost of labor. The free trade agreement would allow specific types of foods to enter the EU without any tax, so long as they don't exceed quotas, for example, 45,000 tons of honey or 180,000 tons of sugar. The meat quotas, which allow 99,000 tons of beef to be exported with a 7.5% duty, or 180,000 tons of poultry with no duties at all, are particularly unnerving for farmers. Indeed, Brazilian beef farmers use a growth hormone that's been banned in the EU for decades. In response to this, the French government would like to rewrite the deal so as to include so-called mirror clauses, which would impose identical regulations on goods traded between the two blocs. They'd also like to include clear environmental protection commitments. Well, as it stands, the agreement would make competition for French farmers even harder than it already is. Take a listen to this French sugar producer protesting near Paris on Sunday.
We produce sugar in France. We're fortunate to have everything we need, from beetroot planters to sugar refineries to process and provide our fellow citizens with white sugar. And actually right now it's cheaper elsewhere, so manufacturers aren't necessarily interested in buying only French sugar. They buy Ukrainian sugar, which is cheaper, so that forces our prices down too.
All right, Charles, take us through what's happening on the stock markets.
Well, in Europe at the open this Monday, after closing lower on Friday, we're seeing the major bourses here opening slightly up at the open. As you can see, the FTSE in London up over 0.1% higher, the Paris CAC 40 up over almost 0.2% higher, same for the DAX in Frankfurt.
All right, next, and US President-elect Donald Trump has tapped one of the oil and gas industry's loudest climate change deniers to lead the Department of Energy.
Chris Wright is a key advocate of fracking, and his nomination is seen as a win for the fossil fuels industry. Trump also picked Brendan Carr, a critic of big tech with close links to Elon Musk, to lead the Federal Communications Commission. Andrew Hillier has more.
Absolutely.
Okay. Donald Trump's pick for the Department of Energy is a clear sign that the US president-elect intends to do things differently. Chris Wright is one of the energy industry's biggest climate change skeptics, frequently denying that a climate crisis is even taking place. He's the founder and CEO of Liberty Energy, which serves companies that carry out fracking. Wright has vowed to end the Biden administration's pause on natural gas exports. His nomination is a win for the fossil fuel industry, which Trump has pledged to boost, reversing US President Joe Biden's policy of investing in renewable energies. Speaking on a visit to the Amazon rainforest ahead of the G20 summit in Brazil, Biden said it was too late to undo the clean energy transition.
It's true. Some may seek to deny or delay the clean energy revolution that's underway in America. But nobody can reverse it. Nobody.
On Sunday, Donald Trump also tapped Brendan Carr, a Republican member of the Federal Communications Commission, to lead the agency. The FCC regulates television, radio, and other communications. Carr is a well-known critic of big tech, calling it a censorship cartel, and has called for the biggest tech companies to be regulated. He's also said he agrees with promises to slash regulation and punish television networks over allegations of political bias. Carr was backed by Trump's biggest donor, Elon Musk. Musk's Starlink internet satellite service is one of the companies that could benefit from access to FCC money.
Thanks very much for that business update, Charles.